We all know that SUVs are popular right now, but you know they're really popular when cars that aren't even SUVs are trying to pass themselves off as SUVs. Take the recently facelifted Ford Focus Active as an example. In essence, this is a regular Ford Focus hatchback that's been made to look a little more like an SUV with the addition of a more rugged body kit, some plastic wheel arch protectors and a jacked up suspension. We'll leave you to judge for yourself how convincing the Focus Active's 4x4 makeover is, but obviously Ford seems to think there's some kind of merit in at least trying to pull off this illusion. Now this is the also recently facelifted Kia XCeed, and it is a little bit different in its approach to the Focus. Yes, it's a member of the same family as the Ceed hatchback. It looks similar, it's about the same size, and it shares most of the same mechanicals. However, rather than just take the hatchback and slap on some chunkier bumpers and hoy up the ride height a bit, this shares almost nothing with its hatchback sibling from a bodywork point of view. The front doors are the same, but that's literally it. Now that seems to be an awful lot of effort, not to mention investment, when they could have just done what Ford did. The question is, which approach has resulted in the better car? Well, from today, wonder no more. Now, the whole reason people like SUVs, even pretend ones, is because they combine this style, albeit slightly contrived style, with the strong practicality needed for a family car. So, how do our contenders get on that score? Well, the Kia has the clear lead when it comes to boot space because its load area totals 426 litres with the seats up and extends to 1,378 with them folded down. That's quite a bit better than the Focus's comparatively weeny load area with a 68 litre advantage with the seats up and 58 litres with them down. It should be noted that there is an estate version of the Focus Active that has way more space than the Kia, but it costs you over £1,000 more than the hatchback, which is already a very close match to the XCeed on price, with barely anything to separate them. What's more, the Kia's rear seats fold down in 3 portions, while the Focus's fold down in just 2, and that means the Kia gives you more versatility when trying to move people and luggage at the same time. The Kia provides even more versatility by giving you a movable boot floor and some additional underfloor storage, while the Focus gives you neither. Climbing to the back seats, and the roles are reversed somewhat. I am 6'1", and as you can see, there is enough legroom and headroom for me to get comfortable, but there isn't much to spare, so if your passengers are much taller than me, then they're going to start to feel pretty hemmed in. Having said that, there is a pretty much flat floor in front of the middle seat, so it is more comfy for carrying 3 people back here than many rivals. Jump to the Ford's back seats and you will find more space. There is a smidge more headroom and a couple of inches more knee room, so taller passengers will travel more comfortably. There is more of a hump in the floor than there is in the Kia, but it's still low enough that you can sit with your feet perched on top of it without feeling too awkward. Get yourself up front in the Ford and the first thing you notice is this enormous 13.2-inch infotainment touchscreen system, and that is going to be very appealing for a lot of buyers. It works reasonably well too, with sharp graphics and a fairly logical operating system. If we're splitting hairs, the screen transitions could be faster, and it's annoying that the aircon controls have been incorporated into the touchscreen rather than having their own physical buttons and dials. But at least the on-screen controls are always visible, regardless of what else the screen is showing at any given time. However, the quality on show inside the Ford is rather less impressive. The top of the dashboard has this soft touch squidgy covering, but even despite its tactility, it still manages to look a bit shiny and a bit cheap. And what's more, when you look below that, all the other plastics you encounter are hard, scratchy and pretty unappealing. Jump into the Kia and you might very well be surprised by the difference, especially if you're one of those people that still sees Kia as a budget brand. Again, you could accuse the dash top of being squidgy but disappointingly shiny, and some parts like the window switches and parking brake do feel a little bit flimsy. But everywhere else, the XCeed feels so much classier than the Focus, with a more substantial feel and plenty of gloss black panelling and metallic finishes to brighten things up. The 10.25-inch touchscreen isn't as big as the Ford's, but it's still pretty good and every bit as easy to use. And look, hallelujah, you have got physical aircon controls which are chunky, clearly marked and easy to use. If we've got one complaint up here, it's that the rear visibility isn't quite as clear as the Ford's because the rear screen is smaller and the pillars either side of it are thicker, but even so, it's hardly disastrous. Take to the road in the Kia and you'll encounter a car that has a very easygoing feel. Most importantly, the ride is nice and comfortable. It's not completely immune to feeling the effects of bumps and ripples in the road surface, especially at low urban speeds, but it does take the sting out of them very impressively, better than the Ceed hatchback, it has to be said. The light gear shift and pedals further contribute to the easygoing feel, and so does the light steering. But waiting aside, you might find the steering a little strange. It has quite slow initial reactions around the straight ahead position, but then once you turn the wheel past a certain point, it becomes really quick, and this inconsistency can feel a little bit unsettling. Otherwise, the handling is perfectly capable and assured, with plentiful grip and very decent body control. So while it's not a car that relishes a twisty road, it can cope with them very easily. There are two powertrains available in the XCeed, a plug-in hybrid that combines a naturally aspirated 1.6 litre petrol engine with an electric motor to give 139 brake horsepower, and the range-topping engine we have in this car, which is a turbocharged 1.5 litre petrol with 158 brake horsepower. And to be honest, it's a bit of a mixed bag. There's a curious flat spot right at the bottom of the rev range, and it can make things feel a little bit jerky when you first pull away, and it can make your power delivery feel like it's hit the doldrums when you roll up to a roundabout. Get the engine above about 1600 RPM and it begins to feel impressively punchy and responsive, and there will certainly be enough performance to suit most drivers. But even with a few revs on the dial, the power delivery still feels a little bit stuttery. The engine in the Focus is actually quite a bit different to the one in the Kia, being a 1 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol, so it only has 2/3 the capacity of the Kia's engine and it's down one whole cylinder. But despite these deficiencies, it almost has its rival matched for power, with an output of 153 brake horsepower, putting it only 5 horsepower behind. And as a result, there's barely anything to separate our two cars for performance, both against the stopwatch and in terms of sensation. The Ford feels every bit as lively as the Kia throughout most of the rev range, and although it doesn't suffer from the same low-down flat spot, it does have the same slight stutter to the power delivery. The Ford's engine also subjects you to a fraction more noise and vibration than the Kia's does, but it is only a fraction, and it's nothing that will ruin the calm. The Ford's engine does have one key advantage over the Kia's though, and that's that it's fitted with a mild hybrid system that gives it vastly superior fuel economy. The official WLTP figure on the Kia stands at 44.8 miles per gallon, whereas the equivalent figure on the Focus stands at 51.4. And with the price of petrol being what it is right now, that can have a big difference on your coffers. And to be fair, that's not the only dynamic advantage that the Ford has either. However capable the Kia, the Ford just feels more dynamically polished. The steering feels more substantial, more responsive and more feelsome. The gear shift feels more mechanical and more satisfying. The pedals are more consistently weighted and are easier to modulate. Everything just feels more together. And with superior body control and stronger grip, the Focus feels much keener to turn than the Kia does and is far more rewarding when it does so. And if you're thinking that the sharper handling must come at the expense of ride comfort, then think again, because no matter what sort of road you happen to find yourself on, the Focus is every bit as pliant and as civilized as the XCeed. Picking Picking a winner between these two cars is actually really difficult because although they're quite similar cars in concept, the mixture of virtues they provide you with are really different. If you want the car with the posher feeling interior, the better practicality and the reassurance of a 7-year 100,000 mile warranty, then go for the XCeed. If on the other hand you'd prefer the car with the fancier touchscreen, the superior fuel economy and the more polished driving experience, then you'll be wanting the Ford. So it much depends on what you're looking for. Importantly, both cars are reasonably priced and come with a very decent slice of luxury equipment as standard, so they both feel like decent value. So whichever one you pick, we think you'll be happy. If you like this video, then please do leave us a thumbs up and subscribe to the Car Gurus UK YouTube channel for lots more great car videos. And if you happen to be shopping for your next car, head over to cargurus.co.uk to find it, and using our clever pricing technology, we'll even tell you whether the dealer selling it is giving you a good price or not.